All you want is my hunger. All you need is my pain. Nothing in between ever makes you When you were born there was thunder, fire lit in the sky as to lead astray. Heavy rain.
Hello, Avni. Congratulations for NYU, UC Berkeley, and other tons of universities you are accepted. So, Avni, please share who are you?
Hi, Krishna. Thank you so much for having me on your channel. Hi, guys. I'm Afni Advani. I'm 17 years old. And I just got into a bunch of really cool business schools. And I am from Jaipur. I applied as a business major to most universities, concentrating and kind of merging it with the intersection of sustainability, environmental science. I'm a very business related person, and I'm excited to share my journey, my application process with tons of students here.
Okay. So, we are starting from the university list. So, how many universities you applied for, and in how many universities you accepted?
So I decided first it was kind of a blur. I was researching a lot, but during my 12th grade, I made my first university list, and then I started to kind of edit it. I would say I distributed my colleges to reach, dream, and safeties, and that's what everyone should do because it's a very unpredictable process. So I applied to mostly business schools because, like, undergrad business is a very difficult course to find at every university. There are more MBA programs and masters for business, but undergrad's a bit difficult. So I applied to NYU Stern, UPenn Wharton, Berkeley Haas, USC Marshall, UMich Ross, Tulane Freeman, Drexel, and a lot of other safeties like Indiana Kelly and stuff like that. For me, it was a little different. But again, I just kind of distributed them in terms of acceptance rates. So from high to low, I kind of tried to take a range.
Okay. Amazing. Amazing. So, let's start your journey. Every student have their journey, and according to you, when your journey started?
Yeah, so like colleges do ask you for your journey from ninth to 12th grade, which is typically high school. So that's when I started. In ninth and 10th, I really did not know anything about the process. To be really fair, from my family, there's been nobody who's applied undergrad outside. People have gone, but for masters or not for undergrads. It was a very new process for me. In ninth grade, I started to really do things I enjoy, like MUNs, writing, club, and kind of research a lot on YouTube and YouTubers like you who give free information online have been my greatest source of strength. Then in 10th, I think, and ninth and 10th mostly went online. So my ninth was all COVID online. So that time I really couldn't really figure out a lot. But after my 10th grades, I got a great percentage. And that's when I realized I can take this forward. So it was my 10th results. My mom said that, you've great grades. You can kind of start looking at colleges. And then in my 10th grade, I gave CBSE board exams. But after that, I switched to Cambridge. So in my 11th, I switched to Cambridge board, which was the biggest challenge in my journey, to be really fair, because switching boards, giving boards, the exams, it was a very difficult process. But then in that atmosphere, I started to do things from scratch and looked at non-profits, looked at startup-y stuff, and got into SAT, prep and everything. And that's when it started. And in 12th grade, I finalized where I wanted to go. It all actually started with a video. So Taylor Swift, she's a singer. She's one of my biggest inspirations. I'm a big
Yeah.
Swiftie. So there's this video before at NYU graduation. So it is her speech. I saw that video and I got super inspired. Like just listening. I still listen to that video a lot of times. And so from there, I got to know, okay, that's NYU. And since my 10th grade, that was my dream. So that's where it started. But then a lot of research kind of got me here.
Okay, amazing. Your journey is amazing. And what about your academic journey? Like when you like moving forward to the Cambridge board. So Cambridge board is a little bit difficult compared to CBSE board. So what about your personal views about Cambridge board? Is a good idea to switch from CBSE to Cambridge board in 10th grade? It is a good idea according to you.
It's a great decision. I always kind of say that it was one of the best decisions I took in high school, but it is not easy. It's not easy at all. The subjects are very different. The way that they have their papers. It's very different. The curriculum in itself, it's not related to CBSE. CBSE is more of learning, writing, and it's more to do with the book stuff. Here you can go through the whole book, but if you don't know the concept at the core, it's very difficult. And in the initial times, I really struggled with it. But I think with the right mentorship, my school really helped me. I've been always academically sound. So like in my ninth grade, I did CBSE and I had a 97%. I had all three sciences, social sciences, English, Hindi. And when I switched to Cambridge, I took 4 subjects here: business, psychology, English, and math. I would say math was very difficult for me here because there's statistics, there's pure math. But again, just working hard and the one thing that really helped me to go through AS and A levels is doing past year papers. So to anybody who's doing Cambridge out there, I would say gain as much experience from the past year papers as you can. The book is great, but after that, you would really have to practice as much as you can. And then 12th grade, I went in with the same subjects.
Totally understandable. And I think if any student want to join Cambridge board, switching from CBSE, so yeah, if you need any kind of help or if you have any kind of question, so just drop your comment. So Avni and I will try to answer those questions. And yeah, and Avni, what about your SAT preparation, SAT preparation?
Yeah, so again, SAT, I gave my SAT 3 times. Once I gave the paper pencil SAT, and then it shifted to the digital. So twice I gave my digital SAT. For prep, I think the number one resource I tried is Khan Academy. It's a great free resource. There are a bunch of practice questions, and like their modules, their videos, everything is very interesting. And then I kind of bought a few books from Amazon, and I prepped from there. It was really not, I didn't have the time to just kind of give a few months to SAT because I had extracurriculars and then school, and then in 11th grade, I switched to boards. So I just kind of, whenever I found time, I went through those resources, went through from a 1390 to a 1440, and then my end score was a 1510, which was a 730 English and a 780 math. But I actually did not end up sending my SAT score to NYU Stern. So I went in without SAT, without APs, without sports, without legacy. So for me, like I didn't send my SAT score to Stern because it's still lower than the average that it gets.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Totally. And I think it was a good decision, great decision.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well.
And yeah, totally makes sense. And what about your how did you manage to write your essay, manage your academics, your extracurriculars, everything at the same time? So any kind of tips or any kind of problems or solutions you identified? Okay, if you have that kind of schedule, if you are prioritizing extracurriculars rather than academics, so any kind of tips, any solutions you have for time management?
So number one thing is you will have to prioritize everything. A college will not take you in if you have great stats but weak extracurriculars. They really need a person who can do it all, who's a multitasker, shows rigor in extracurriculars and academics both. So it is one of the biggest challenge for high schoolers, to be very fair. The only thing that you can do is do the things that you really enjoy. So extracurriculars are not like check marks, they're not tick boxes. You will have to really do the things you like. And when you're doing them, you're not like feeling I'm wasting time or I'm spending time. You're just really enjoying it. So to just kind of you will automatically prioritize stuff that you care about. For me, it was research. So when I was doing it, it wasn't like I'm doing it outside of my academics, but I did it because I really want to do it. Secondly, I think always have a to-do list. Make sure you have everything written in front of you. When it's your mind, it's very cluttered. When it's on paper, it's much more structured. Write down the things that you want to do and take it step by step. You can't get to a global nonprofit when you don't do the first meeting. So when you're doing your extracurriculars, note down, I need to do the first meeting with my team. You have an exam upcoming. Just, like when I had my exams, I did not focus a lot on extracurriculars that month. You don't have to do it all together. Take time out for things. And when I was free from exams, all I was doing is writing my book, getting into my extracurriculars. So kind of make your priority list every single day and try to not waste time. Plus, if you're doing things that you really want, you're going to make time for them.
Okay, amazing. And as you mentioned that you are not able to score good in your SAT. So any tips for students who are thinking, okay, I can apply as a test optional?
I did apply with my SAT scores to a bunch of universities like Tulane, Jexcel, and a bunch of others too. But then for Stern, it's like Stern is a very math rigorous school, and their SAT average is higher than usual. So I was, it's like Stern was my dream school. I always wanted to ED to Stern, but like Stern also has a requirement for math calculus, and I was given my AS level maths in October, and I was going to get my results in January. So I was like, I can't apply without math because it's their requirement. That's why I went in with the regular decision. But if I think now SAT has become more important because colleges like Dartmouth and Yale, they've declared that they are getting tests
Yeah,
required. So I suggest everyone should focus a lot on SAT. But if you don't have it, don't get very stressed because again, SAT is just a means to prove the university that you can take a test, you are academically rigorous. I was in the top 2% of my class overall, so like my academic rigor was shown in my transcripts. But if that's not the case with you, I think you should try taking the SAT, and you improve with time, all right, with attempts. All of my friends and we saw growth every attempt, from a 1390 to a 1440 to 1510, which is a great score. So you're going to see progress. Just don't give up and try taking as many practice tests, as many prep books as you can. But at the end, if you're in your 10th grade and you don't have any attempts left and you don't have your SAT, there are a bunch of success stories of people getting into T20s, IVs without SAT. So it's like, don't take too much stress.
yeah, it's not only about SAT, it's a whole profile. And like a car in college application, there are four wheels: academics, SAT, test, or extracurriculars, application essays. So just focus on your overall application. Yeah, totally makes sense. And Avni, what about your extracurriculars like Sahanubhuti, which is a great success? So please, can you explain everything about Sahanubhuti, like when you started as a founder and what kind of accomplishments you did?
So I have my activity list. Do you want me to go through all 10 of them? I think I'm going to wrap it up in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll just try to explain all of my extracurriculars, including Sahanubhuti. So my first extracurricular was a research that I did. It's called ClenB, and it's a business prototype. So I was the project lead and developer, and we ended up presenting that research at the Indian Institute of Technology. It is India's second best sustainable project. We did biochem research, modeled a zero carbon footprint boat to clean a lake. And then inevitably, this project was presented at 10 plus national firms and fairs. So what we did is that it started off as a school competition with my professor, my science professor at my school. And I was very interested into business. And as I said in the start as well, climate change, sustainability, environmental science is something I really want to work on in the future. So I found this is the perfect opportunity. So things did not go very straight for me. I did not get into a research program. I couldn't even apply to a bunch of those because I started very late into process building, and I did not find best community service opportunities out there. So for me, I had to build everything from the start. So this was one of those ventures that I started. Then I reached out to my teacher and I asked him if we could take this outside of school and we could do independent research. He allowed me to work on the research paper. We ended up winning, we ended up having runners-up position at the University of Sydney's Indian Innovation Challenge. Through school and outside, I pitched it to a lot of different venture capitalists, and we went in pitching it to universities, working on the research paper, made a lot of videos. We won at the TIE Global Pitch competitions as well. So this was my top one because it was very close to my subjects, firstly. Secondly, I kind of did it on many levels. So I did a national level, regional fairs, took it internationally as well. And it helped me get into this summer program as well, LaunchX. I think you might know about it.
Online one or offline?
So I got into offline one, but then I did not have my visa, so I had to continue online.
Yeah, but I think LaunchX is amazing for entrepreneurship. So yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, and what about your other extracurriculars? Like I think you also have a great experience of MUN's debate. So what about your debate journey?
Oh yeah, so I started debating and MUNing in like my 8th grade. And starting, it was just like my mom telling me, this is a great opportunity for you to try. And I was not very open about public speaking before, but then I ended up doing 30 MUNs, and that surely shaped the person I am. It helped me with research. So for ClenB, the research that I did, the foundations was MUN research, because you have to do a lot of research when you're doing MUNs. I ended up becoming the MUN president of my school. With IMUN MUN, we also chaired India's first carbon negative conference. I was also the chairperson for 4 MUNs. And so my MUN experience has been very vast all throughout 8th to 12th grade. And I feel like MUNs are a great way to start your journey. And that's what helped me a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. And what about your other student? Like, for example, if there is a student from a STEM field and want to become a, say, computer science engineer or data science engineer or something like that. So, is it a good idea to join MUNs, attend MUNs, and debating?
MUNs are like not field related, then nothing to do with business, right? But they're for your personality development. You get so confident, you learn so much, you learn so much about the world, the issues that are happening around you. And secondly, you feel very excited. They're very fun too. And you get the source of leadership. You learn so much about from experiences. There are great networking opportunities as well. For my non-profit Sahanubhuti, as you mentioned, a lot of my team members are from my MUN club as well. So I also have this non-profit called Sahanubhuti, which is a mental equity non-profit. We started it off with I started it off with my best friend Divyanshi. We did it. We started it with an event that we did near village Jaipur. And it was very small, but then we ended up reaching out to so many people, and we did not stick to just one specific goal, but try to diverse it with the help of our interns, our volunteers. Today, we have 2,000 plus volunteers. We have started our chapters in Thailand, the UK, the US. We have our vast team in India, all across India. We've designed 800 research-based packages, helped 600 patients, and we were also recognized by the government. We have received the Unite World Award, which is for NGOs on an international level by Thailand's first interscholastic paper. So I feel like through MUNs, you can start so many new things. You can learn about people, and it really helped me to kind of find passion in mental health equity through my nonprofit as well.
Okay, amazing. And I think like appreciated by President of India. It's a great thing as an high school student. So yeah, your everything is amazing. Your extracurriculars, your academics, and what about your essay journey? Because essay is not just a essay; it's a story. So please, can you say something about your essay journey when you started, problems you faced, everything about your essay?
So I also did face a lot of problem when I was deciding what to write about, because you have so many ideas. But the number one thing is there's a word limit. So you do get
Word
restricted.
limit.
And I'm also a writer. So like for me, it was very difficult to decide what to write about. But I think the more you think, I had notebooks and notebooks filled of thinking what I need to write. So first thing is, I think brainstorm on a very natural level. Think about the question, how you relate to it. For NYU, I had 2 supplements, and then I had my Common App essay. So yeah, I think I started off brainstorming pretty naturally, writing it down. And then I always try to give evidence for what I'm saying. So if they're asking about some specific experience in business, I would talk about my startup Twizzle. So that would give
Yeah.
it evidence as well. Okay, yeah, she's saying this and it's backed up by her extracurriculars. I try to explain all of my journey through my essays, because I think it's not about bragging. It's all about showing who you are. And colleges really do want to know you to your core and you for who you are. And I try to display that. I try to be very real and explain my application as a whole. So the number one thing is your essays, your extracurriculars, your recommendations, everything should show the same story. So I try to do that with my essay.
Okay, amazing, amazing. And last question, not the last, but a least question, which is financial aid and cost of attendance. What about your financial aid? How much you got?
Yeah, so I did not end up applying to NYU with my CSS profile because it's a need aware school. It's turning need blind from the next year. But I did have $20,000 per year scholarship at NYU. At JEXEL, I got the Global Scholars Program, which is just given to 2 people from India. So that's a fully funded program. At I had 40K per year. At Kelly, I had 30K. At UMich Flint, I had a full ride. So I think without my CSS profile, these were all the scholarships that I received. But I think you should try sending your CSS profile and your finances to all the colleges that are need blind, and try to apply to as many scholarships as you can. And I think that will help you a lot.
Okay, amazing. And what about your final choice, which is NYU, right?
NYU Stern has been my dream for so long. It's one of the best business programs. And I was just so excited about NYU since the start. It's in New York City. And it's just great for the course that I'm
Yeah,
going for, the opportunities, the networking. That's what appealed me
yeah,
specifically.
amazing, amazing. And I think it was the great decision because NYU, I personally know many students from NYU, and their life and their like experience was amazing. So that's why I totally agree with your decision. And Avni, what about
Thank
like
you so
suggestions for
much.
students? If you want to give any suggestion to all students, high schoolers, so any suggestions you have?
Oh, yeah, of course. So I would start off by saying carve your niche. All right. A lot of people have these
Yeah.
myths or preconceived notions that you have to fit in boxes, SAT, APs, sports, stuff like that. But you don't have to fall in the rat race because these colleges, again, really want unique perspectives. So think about the things you're passionate about and carve your niche in a way that your application should speak substance. These admissions officer, they do not have a lot of time. All right, they review each application for about a few minutes, and if you're able to portray a story from the time that they have, you're going to be really more recognizable in their minds. And so I held on to a lot of my pillars like research, business, sustainability, writing, and those were the things that I sticked on. So my essays were related to that, my extracurriculars were relating the same. So try to kind of have a spike in your application and tell them what you're passionate about. Second, I think you're going to go through a lot of rejections. I tried cold emailing 80 to 90 professors, asking them to start research with me. I applied to a lot of programs. So you're not going to always have acceptances, but rejection is redirection. I did not get into a few community service projects, but then I ended up having my own global nonprofit. So you need to find opportunities in rejection and kind of go forward with that, because this process is a long one. You will have to stay consistent. Thirdly, I would say that, tell the university one problem that you're passionate about and how would you use the resources at the college to kind of achieve that. So I talked about how I want to open my own startup in the future, and it would be relating to decreasing the beauty industry's contribution to climate change. So I was like, New York City is a cultural melt pot. NYU has a great business program. I'm going to harness all the resources and networks to build my startup and help the environmental journey of the world. So if you can tell them what you're passionate about and they see efforts, I think you'll be good to go. So just be very honest, be very unique, try to do the right.
Exactly, it totally makes sense because failures are the part of journey, and you like well explained about a concept of best fit. You can explain by an example of show them problem and everything. So thank you for your all guide and everything for all students. And anything about your like journey when you face that, okay, applying to US universities, applying to other countries. So any kind of suggestions before applying?
Oh, yeah. So I would say time management is a great suggestion. It's like I had a lot of problem managing my time because I started off late. So there were times where, like, in October I have my math exam, my SAT, my math exam too. 15 days I have my ED deadline. 20 days more I have my UC deadline right next to the RD deadlines. So try to kind of manage your time well, number one. Number two, use your social medias correctly as a student. One of my other great sources was LinkedIn, and I reached out to as many people through LinkedIn as possible, and a lot of opportunities that I got. For example, there's this
Yeah,
project that I did in high school called Girls for Algorithm Justice. So their founder
yeah,
reached out to me through LinkedIn, and we ended up becoming the world's first and largest AI ethics coalition. So we worked with senators in the US. I interviewed people from Google, Amazon, JP Morgan. I got the opportunity to see the tech world, even though I'm not from a CS background. But that was one of the most fulfilling experiences of my college application journeys. And people say that, opportunities are very difficult to find, which is true. But the more you try, the more you learn. I never decided, like, I never thought I would have um, come close to this path related to Girls for Algorithm Justice, but that was my top extracurricular in most schools. So after time management, look at your social media. I publicize my researches on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and that really helped me to connect with more people.
yeah, totally makes sense because social media, LinkedIn, is the great weapon to build your profile, get to know about more extracurriculars.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And what about your future plans? Any kind of plans about masters, PG program?
So like after Stern, I want to like gain corporate experience in either luxury brand management or organizations. I would love to know how the corporate world works, get hands-on experience, and then go forward with my masters. As I said, my main goal is to have a startup of my own. So as much experience as I can get after college, I would like that, and then of course move forward with an MBA.
Okay, amazing. And what about your personal life? Any friends who got into any other good universities, and any one of your friend you thought that okay, she or he also have a good profile? Any kind of friend you have?
A lot of my friends ended up getting into really cool colleges. If I would like to talk about my school, our head boy Arsh, he got into Duke and he has a 1590 SAT score. He has a great AP scores, amazing extracurricular profile. Khushi, she was also a head girl. She got into USC. Anusha got into Boston. In my school, I would say that there have been amazing results all across Jaipur. And these are the people that I started working on my application within, just kind of coming back to this full circle and seeing so many amazing results. I think everybody eventually got where they deserve to be and where they would be very happy. So I feel like this application process, I got to learn a lot, and all of my friends got into amazing colleges, top tier colleges.
Amazing, amazing, and congratulations to all of your friends. And what about your family? Any family member or any family background you want to share?
Oh yeah, so like mostly my parents inspire me to do everything. My mom has her own venture. She's an interior designer. She started her business 4 to 5 years ago. I have learned so many things from her, dealing with clients, working in a business atmosphere. My dad is into banking, so you can see that there's a business theme going on in the background. My parents have always inspired me. They've never like told me to go for a set path, but helped me explore this journey. And I am doing something which is related to my parents' professions as well. My mom does a lot of her business from home as well. So I have seen her work, and I've like, when I saw her working on her own venture, starting from nothing to actually expanding her venture, I was like, I can do this. I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I would be very excited to continue growing something of my own too. My dad is backed by finance. He's very interested into investment banking, into the businessy world. So I think my parents have also kind of helped me shape and understand if I want to do this for sure as well.
Amazing. I think you have a great parents and family. And I have a next question, which is AP exam. Any AP exam you have?
Oh, so no, I did not end up giving AP exams because I said I was working on Cambridge and my extracurriculars and everything. So I think a lot of students who are from IB or international boards like
Yeah.
IGCSE and stuff, they don't really have to give APs because in our schools don't offer those exams. So I think APs, SAT, and all of these exams are only there for one purpose, which is to show the university that you can pass exams there and you have background information, and you have rigor in your application. So if you're doing an international board, I think you have nothing to worry about. But yes, a lot of my friends from CBSE end up giving these AP exams, and they're great ways to kind of tell the university that you have info about these subjects, and they also help you with credits when you're actually at the university. Those are transferable as well. So of course, if there's a subject that you are really good at, for example, a few of my friends gave AP microeconomics, maths, calculus A, B, B, C. So if you have something which you feel like you're great at that subject and that would boost your application, you can totally go with that. I feel like APs are one of the most essential parts of your application.
And Avni, what about other students who are applying to US universities, and but they feel that it's not the right choice because of news. I think you also know about some negative news about US. It's not safe, or sometimes we thought that, or parents thought that it's not the safe place for our child. So any kind of incident that you face, or your father or your family member said that don't apply to US university because it's not safe.
I feel like anybody who's applying, it's like inevitable. You're gonna hear stuff like that. Like my parents also keep on sending me news on WhatsApp, like this happened, that happened. It's definitely
Yeah.
such a important concern for parents.
Yeah.
And that's true. There's been a lot of gun shooting cases and unsafe news that we've been hearing. But it's definitely important to be aware. Number one, uh,
Yeah,
it is the truth, and we have to face it. But secondly, I feel
so
like
true.
take that as a positive thing that you're aware and you have to be safe. A lot of universities which are not very highly ranked, I think that this kind of stuff happens more there, like the news. All of that that's
Yeah,
related to those colleges. So firstly, please research your college, look at the past incidents, look at the security. My parents checked out NYU security, and for all the other schools that I applied to, if they're very safe. Do not go to a college without having a lot of background check on them. There are a lot of
reference.
colleges
Yeah,
in Canada that they call you there, but then there's actually nothing, and people get all of these fraud scams as
yeah,
well. And look,
scam.
go to places where it's safe. Look at the security, look at the checks, and don't avoid this thing. This is a very very big concern for everybody. But then again, don't take that as a barrier. Take that as a good thing. And
Value.
definitely, you have to have a lot of precaution. But for me, I think a US education, what appealed me the most was that
Exactly.
there's a liberal arts curriculum. Like I can merge subjects. I'm not
Yeah,
very sure what I want to study. I am still a bit undecided. And having that networking and that connection building opportunities, I think those are the things that inspired me a lot to apply to the US. But whatever university, whatever country that you're deciding, all of these factors are very important to look.
exactly. Because no country is safe. Even in India, there are lots of cases. So don't take it as a hurdle, or you can say that man problem or man reason for not applying to US universities.
Yeah, Delhi has a lot of cases as well. In India, also, it's not like we don't have crime, but you need to not take that as it's not going to stop you. You just need to take that as a safety concern, not as a hurdle to your education. Don't not apply to the US because it's not safe. I feel like that should not be the first thing that comes to your mind.
Yeah, exactly. And if you are like, if you have any kind of problems, and if you like thought that, okay, I'm not applying because of those reasons, so you just have to consult with any people who are currently studying, because there are many, you can say that things or many kind of guides you have to follow if you just want to be a safe person in USA. So just follow all guides and just connect with anyone who is currently studying.
Yeah, you're not going to get replies from everybody, but even like one or two great replies can change the trajectory of your application. So don't stop trying.
Yeah, exactly. And Avni, as you know that about CTS, we are helping students by providing free resources, helping them, connect them. We have like countless WhatsApp groups, and we have a great community. So any kind of views and experience with CTS you have?
Oh yeah, I reached out to you for my SAT prep, and you did end up sending me a few books and some practice papers on email. And then after following you, I also kind of saw that you are helping people with their extracurriculars and list. So anytime you see free resources online, please reach out to them. Any kind of resource is helpful during college applications, and I feel like Krishna is doing a great job there, kind of helping people, like so many people, through not only your videos but also the CTS program that you're running. You said you're even coming to Jaipur. So I feel like people who are working towards helping you achieve your dreams, please reach out to them. And this is going to be an amazing experience for you, because a little bit help goes a long way. There are a lot of people, my school counselors, my friends, my family, that helped me. And definitely, as I said, YouTube. So I think they should definitely check CTS and look at your program, because it's immaculate. It really helped me with my city prep as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Avni, for your views and your experience with CTS. And we are just trying to help international students. And as I think you know, currently we are running 33-day program, where every day we are
Oh
providing
yeah.
something unique. Yesterday we provided a huge list of extracurriculars according to separate subjects from like CS extracurriculars, biology, and everything. So if you need those kind of free resources, so we are providing everything in our program, which is like completely free. You just have to sign up and just download. You don't need to do anything else. Okay, just go download and use those resources.
And there's an award as well. I think $4,000 worth of prize money are also given for that challenge, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So this challenge is not just about providing free resources. There are many things. For example, every day you have to share your progress. Like if you are doing something,
Yeah.
completed math chapter, or ended up with your website or something else. So you just have to update every day. So after 33 days, we will review your progress, your consistency, and what kind of progress you made. So according to consistency, discipline, we will award award or prizes worth $4,000. So it's simple, but it just required consistency.
It's very helpful because it motivates people to do better. They're gonna completely make their progress throughout these 33 days, and at the end they're going to see so much progress because you're helping them and because you're like motivating them to do better. I love your program.
Yeah.
People should definitely sign up for that.
Yeah, thank you, Avni. Because dedication and consistency is the key of success. It's the old quote, I think, but
Exactly.
still it works. Yeah, it works in your college application. So just follow consistency or discipline. Because if you have a great profile, if you have a, you can say that great extracurricular. So, but if you don't have consistency, so how you can show your college application, show your story in front of colleges. So just try to be consistent in everything.
Exactly. Consistency is the most important thing throughout this process. You're completely right.
Thank you, Avni. And let's cross the sky limits.
Thank you, Krishna. Let's cross the sky limit. And it was amazing talking to you. And your program's amazing. Thank you so much for helping so many students, and specifically international students who find it difficult to apply, to find resources. You're doing a great job out there.
Yeah, thank you, Avni. Thank you. And I think your profile and your story will help thousands of students. So again, congratulations for NYU and your future journey, which is like bright. And I think in future, you will motivate other thousands of students by showing your experiences, journey. So please follow Avni on LinkedIn or other social media accounts and stay connected, because it's not just about following a person. It's about following their journey and get inspired by them.
I'll drop my LinkedIn also in the comments. Anybody can reach out. I do help a lot of students kind of build passion projects and find resources. So feel free to reach out to me or Krishna anytime, and we would love to help you.